Bowler, who will be given an update on ongoing scams in the county. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Koretsky, Vice Mayor Choi, council members, residents of the beautiful town of Jupiter, and of course, our amazing artists that are among us tonight. Yeah, give them a hand. They're great. I'm Mike Caruso. I'm the Clerk of Court of Comptroller Palm Beach County. When I got appointed back in August of 2025 by Governor DeSantis to be the clerk, I had 5 priorities that I wanted to focus on. One was to modernize the payment system in Palm Beach County for our payable system. Right now, they literally go from stack to stack, review. We digitize them at the clerk's office, and one of the things we want to do is modernize that system. Advocate for a statewide unified database, and if you're an attorney here, you probably know that to look something up and to do research throughout the state of somebody or something, you've got to go to all 67 clerk offices to do that. Wanted a unified database. Wanted to maintain conservative and sound investments, protect our citizens against guardianship abuse, and of course protect them against property deed fraud and all the scams that are out there right now. Back in December, I read in the Palm Beach Post by Ann Gegas. She wrote, "'Tis the season to be scammed." And sadly or not, it's still the season to be scammed. It must be a 12-year holiday, 12-month holiday every year. But throughout Florida, people are getting fake phone calls, text, emails from scammers that are pretending to be individual. They pretend to be the clerk of court, myself. They call up and they say, "Hi, this is Mike Caruso, the clerk of court," or Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, and they pretend to be actual officers of the law. And of course, the IRS and other government agencies. What they do is they try to trick you, scare you, create a sense of urgency regarding some things. And the ones I'm going to be talking about tonight are scams involving unpaid traffic tickets, missing jury duty, and property theft. It's a big business. The FTC says it was a $12.5 billion business, but they also say that it's last year, and they say 95% of the people don't report their scam when they get scammed because they're embarrassed. They got taken. And so that would mean that it's probably a $160 billion industry. And of course, where does Florida land? We're #1 in the country for scams with 21,294 scams last year. No, just in the last 3 quarters of last year. So that's probably equates to about 28,000 people got scammed last year. And that's the ones that got reported. And no longer are the scams as obvious as they used to be. It's no longer you've inherited $20 million from a Ugandan prince, okay, and all you got to do is pay the tax on it. Nor is it an IRS agent, somebody pretending to be the IRS says, "Hey, meet me in the parking lot of Home Depot with $4,000 of what do you call this, gift cards." Like you can pay your taxes with gift cards. Although it still pops up from time to time, it's gotten so much more sophisticated. They literally focus group their scripts. They focus group them. They found out which script is more effective at stealing money from people. So, you know, our job at the clerk's office, we've teamed up with the state prosecutor, teamed up with Palm Beach Sheriff Rick Bradshaw to form a task force of education, apprehension, and prosecution. So the clerk's office is education. That's why I'm here tonight. The sheriff arrests them, and the state prosecutor puts them in jail. But you know, as in education, you need to beware, be smart, be safe, and when in doubt, don't give your info out. If somebody is calling, texting, or emailing you, and they eventually get to the part where they ask you for money, it's not maybe a scam. It's always a scam. Guaranteed it's a scam. And just don't fall for it. And if anybody starts asking you for any of your personal information, don't give it out. When in doubt, don't give it out. If you have this much belief in what they're saying, and they're good, and I'm gonna go over one of the scams in a second. But if you have a mustard seed of doubt, just hang up. So traffic ticket scam, that's where they pretend to be Mike Caruso, the clerk of court, and they call you up and they say, they go, and I'll use my wife as an example. Okay, say hi, honey. Hi, this is Mike Caruso from the clerk's office. Is this Tracy Caruso? Yes, it is. And, oh, you could have done that part. Okay, okay, you do your part, honey. Is this Tracy Caruso? Yes, and well, I'm just a courtesy call here. We're calling to let you know that you had a traffic violation about 3 weeks ago, and that we see that it's due tomorrow, and if it's not paid by tomorrow at 5 o'clock, your license is going to get suspended. Your fines will double, and you could get arrested if you get pulled over driving with a suspended license. Oh, yes, you did. And it's before I get started, they what they've done is they just created a sense of urgency by saying it's due tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and it really is, because what people don't know is everything on that traffic citation is public record. And so when they ask you, do you live at 220 Lakeshore Drive, apartment 1703, you say yes. Okay? And they ask you if you were born in 1983, March 3rd, 23rd, 1983, you say yes, of course. I just made her a few years younger. It's gonna be great. And do you have green eyes and blonde hair and et cetera, et cetera. And now they've built your confidence that it's really the clerk of court from Mike Caruso calling. And were you going 85 miles an hour in that 35 mile an hour zone, and did you get a ticket from Palm Beach Sheriff's Officer Deputy Beasley back there? And she says, yes, it is, and you believe them, okay? Understand, the clerk's office will never, ever call you. And then they ask you for your credit card. And then they run your credit card, they max it out. And you never did pay your ticket, which means your license will get suspended. So don't, when in doubt, don't give your info out. And you should know that the moment they ask for money, it's a scam. Jury duty scam. This is Palm Beach Sheriff's Office Deputy Beasley calling. You failed to show up for jury duty last week. There's a warrant out for your arrest. That's one of the scams, okay? And it's so good. I got this call 1 week after I got appointed by the governor. I'm the clerk of court. I'm in charge of juries, okay? And I get this call, and I believe it so much that I pick up my wife's phone, and I call Rick Bradshaw. He's our sheriff. I said, Rick, blah, 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 blah. And he says, Mike, hang up the phone. It's a scam. I go, no, Rick, this sounds real. He says, no, Mike, this is a scam. He says, trust me, if there was a warrant out for your arrest, we're not going to call you, give you a courtesy call, tell you we're coming. We're just going to show up at your door, knock it down if we have to, put handcuffs on you, throw you in the back of the sheriff's car, and take you to Gun Club Road. That's the way we do it in the sheriff's office. Right, Deputy Beasley? Yeah, get a thumbs up back there. But those scams will make your day bad. They'll make your week bad. They could make your month bad, depending on your financial situation. But the worst one is they're now coming after your homes. They want to steal your home. And that's the bad one, because that'll ruin your life. And what they're doing is, they download a quitclaim deed. Within an hour, they fill it out. They forge your signature. They have a fake notary on there. And within a week, they file it in the courthouse. Within a week, they borrow against your home. Within a month, they sell it. You find out when somebody knocks at your door, and they go, who are you? And you say, I'm the homeowner. And they say, well, who are you? And you go, well, we just bought this property this morning. We just closed on it this morning, And that's the kind of scam that's going on. And to undo that at that point is tremendous. It takes forever. Now, how bad is it? Does it happen often? Palm Beach County has 650,000 properties in our county. It's pretty big. 2 years ago, according to Lexia Cox, our state prosecutor, we had 4 cases of stolen deeds. Not bad. That's only 4, right? It's not going to be one of you out of 4 out of 650,000 people. Okay, but a year ago, we had 32 cases. Last year, we had 184 cases. This year, we're over 500 cases. And the year's only 5 months long, the fiscal year. I predict next year we'll have 7,000 cases, meaning 1 out of 80 properties will be stolen in Palm Beach County. What we're doing, we're telling people to sign up for our property fraud alert, where you attach your email address to your property. and you go to mypalmbeachclerk.com/PFA property fraud alert, and you attach your email to your property. The moment there's activity on your property, we send you an email and notify you, and then we give you instructions if it could be something benign as you paid off your mortgage and Bank of America is filing a satisfaction of mortgage. Or you're having your kitchen redone and the plumber files a mechanic's lien or something like that. And you go, okay, I'll remember now to make sure I get a release of lien when I pay him his last payment. But if you look at it and it's a quitclaim deed with your name on it and a fake signature of you, and you transferred your property for $10 and other consideration, you want to do something. And so we instruct you to call the police, then call us, and come into our office, fill out an application for a quiet title, and then we kind of lock your property down once a judge signs off on that, and we record it, and then you go about undoing that phony deed. So that's mypalmbeachclerk.com/PFA. I'd advise everybody to do that. I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you tonight. I give out my cell phone number in case you have trouble with it. It's 561-702-9319. It's 561-702-9319. That's the one I give my wife, and that's the one she calls me on, and right? That's really mine. And call me, and I tell people, if it's 10 o'clock at night, you're trying to fill that out, and then on a Sunday night, and you can't get it filled out for some reason, you just don't understand, or you're not good on the computer, call me, text me, and I'll make sure somebody contacts you next morning and get you signed up for property fraud alert, because I'd rather get that call than the call from you in a hotel or motel because somebody bought your property fraudulently and has kicked you out of your own home. So thank you for the time tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you all. And I'm excited to hear about the artist here tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and that was very informative. Thank you. It's kind of scary to hear the skyrocketing numbers on property fraud, but thank you for being proactive about that and giving us a way to not be one of 80 unfortunate. So moving on to the Drop Saver Poster Contest Awards, I want to welcome Ms. Haley Johnson, Special Projects Coordinator for Utilities, who will be presenting the Drop Savers Poster Contest Awards. And I want to ask if Councilor Sundstrom will join on behalf of the council.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. My name is Haley Johnson, and I'm the Special Projects Coordinator for the Town of Jupiter Utilities. Thank you for the proclamation recognizing the role that water conservation plays towards protecting our local water resources and providing safe and reliable drinking water. It is a great segue into my presentation. Tonight, I would like to introduce you to some special guests who understand the importance of water conservation. They are our winners of the 2026 Drop Savers Poster Contest. Each year, the Town of Jupiter participates in the Florida section of the American Water Works Association's Drop Savers Water Conservation Poster Contest during National Drinking Water Week. The contest gives students from kindergarten through high school the opportunity to showcase their creativity and design a poster about water conservation. This program is a fun way for our students to learn about the importance of water conservation and the role it plays in protecting the local water resources necessary to produce safe and reliable drinking water. The program also serves as a good reminder for the community. Though we had over 100 local students participate in the poster contest this year, tonight we are honoring the top 3 winners for each of the 5 age divisions. But before the winners are announced, I would like to acknowledge the generosity of our local business sponsors who donated items for the prize bags each winner will receive tonight. Let me introduce you now to this year's winners. Students, when I call your name, please come forward to be congratulated by Counselor Sundstrom. and receive your prize bag. After you have received your award, please remain standing up front so we can take a group photo at the end. All right. So for Division 1, which is kindergarten and first grade, we have third place, Paige McRoberts from kindergarten. The big bag. Got it. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Bigger than she is.
If you want to stand over. Okay. So second place for Division 1 is Gracie Kettner from first grade. All right, and first place for Division 1 is Adrune Novelis, first grade.
These are so cute.
Okay, moving on to Division 2, which is second and third grade. Third place goes to Wyatt Picorni, second grade. Hold on, wait, that's the best part. All right, second place for Division 2 is Nicholas Johnson from third grade. And first place for Division 2 is Maya Hill in third grade. All right, Division 3, which is fourth and fifth grade. Third place goes to Hadley Geetap, fourth grade. Okay, and second place goes to Tessa Dabrowski from fifth grade. And first place for Division 3 is Riley Fisher from fourth grade. All right, Division 4 would be our middle school winners, 6th through 8th grade. Third place goes to Helen Raimundo in 7th grade. Second place goes to Peyton Lau in 8th grade. All right, and first place, I would like to say that our first place winners all also got to compete at the state level against schools across the state. And Gianna Lipset was third place for the state, first place for Town of Jupiter. All right. So our fifth division is high school. This year we only got 2 submissions. So Preston and Caroline, I'm going to need you to tell your friends about this next year so we can get some more participation from high school. So second place goes to Preston Lau in 9th grade. And first place is Caroline McCarthy, who also got first place in the state. All right, congratulations and thanks again for participating.
Councilor Sundstrom?
You want to get in the picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go.
That makes sense. Go behind.
You'll have to send your photo to everyone else.
Yeah.
We'll give everybody who wants to leave a few moments to depart. You're welcome to stay, but I imagine you have places to go.
I don't think so.
Make a rule, they forfeit their prize if they leave early. Make them stay the whole meeting. You say on or off? On. Oh, on.
Now we're back to our little group.
Place empties out.
Do we have any citizen comments?
Yes, sir. We have one citizen comment. Eric Weitze.
Eric Whiteside, 230 Ocean Grand Boulevard, Jupiter. About 4 weeks ago, I wrote to Maria Marino at the county because on A1A to make the sidewalk wider so people don't have to walk on the road. We've got wheelchairs and baby carriages and whatnot. For 2 weeks, I didn't hear anything. So I came here and read the same letter to you, and I got a roaring response from the full packed house. And I was hoping that would happen tonight here, but they all left. So the next day, the very next day, I got a message from Marino's department that she's going to put an engineer or somebody on the job to see what can be done by the county. And I think that's great. But I think I'd also like to see you folks chime in if this is what you want, because this is Jupiter after all. It's a county road, but this is part of Jupiter, and I think the whole town would enjoy that. I'm out there for 9 years, walking in the morning at night. I love it, and so do many other people. So when you get a chance, please chime in you can give me some feedback, advice on how to move forward on this. But I think it's a good idea, and we should have this in the township. Thank you very much.
Just to add on that one, we don't normally talk about these, but,
I'm sorry?
no, we don't normally talk about these, but I think it's appropriate in this one. You've been persistent about this item, and we appreciate that. We all would love to see something done. When I saw the response, which was routed to you, but ultimately was initiated by Joanne Keller, the deputy county engineer, I did pick up the phone and speak to her. I know her, and she's first person below the county engineer. So you got the attention of somebody who oversees, the engineering department, and we had some conversation. And while I do believe right-of-way is really limited, she knows how important it is, and she's going to confirm whether or not if there's absolutely anything that can be done. So I'm not trying to build false hopes, but I do want to say that, you got the attention of someone who is responsible for that, and I know, and I'm saying this, my colleagues also know this, that the county's going to generally look at it. I'm not, again, trying to build false hopes, because years ago, when that road was established, it was a compromise to enable everybody to use, I believe, every inch of the right-of-way. But again, Joanne Keller is going to make sure that leave no stone unturned to take a look at it. So thank you.
I appreciate it very much. When I look at this beautiful building here, and I'm saying that other part's got to be nice too, the same way.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that's it on citizen comments, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving on to the minutes. Council, we have before us some minor revisions to the minutes. If there's no other revisions, I'll take a motion and a second to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of April 21st, 2026 with the amendments as submitted.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to the consent agenda, this is items 6 through 11. Is any member of the public wish to pull a consent agenda item?
No, sir.
Seeing none, any member on the dais want to pull a consent agenda item?
No.
Yes. Number 9.
Number 9. And I wanted to pull number 7. So I'll take a motion and a second to approve an amended consent agenda consisting of items 6, 8, 10, and 11.
So moved as amended.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to public business, number 7, approval of an agreement with Industrial Shade Ports for the purchase and installation of shaded bleacher covers at Jupiter Community Park. I pull this item. I believe that this isn't the right solution to be used. I have been interested in this goes along with the work that's being done on multi-purpose fields 7 and 8 at Jupiter Community Park that I had advocated for to find a way in the budget. The reason why I'd like to defer this item is I've been in conversation with staff. Number one, we don't have a master plan for the benches, bleachers, shade ports, and something is being worked on, but it was not yet available. I don't know how many people on the dais get the opportunity to go to events at the multi-purpose fields, but it was my expectation that we'd be providing, some amount of shade amenity, much like we were doing at the playgrounds. And I understood. So I was interested in seeing the master plan to make sure it's done right as we progress. And I'm concerned that what is before us is not the right solution. And the reason I say that is having the opportunity to attend games at the Abacoa Community Park, that was somewhat a standard that was being replicated, if I understand correctly. But while it has a great bleacher of sorts with shading, I'm talking about Abacoa, and it works well because there's trees behind it for the western sun. We're not going to get that at Jupiter Community Park. What we're going to get is, I understood, is what I see. It's a 3-level with shade, and I think there's been some confusion here about what the purpose for that was at Abacoa. So again, I'm just sharing for my colleagues. But when I asked, I said I wanted to see what the amenities were with shade for the teams and the fans. In the last iteration, hearing from staff was, number one, the engineer of record, whoever that may be, is doing up the plan, so that wasn't yet available. But number two, what's before us is the 3-level benches, if you will, with the shade structure. And if it's like Abacoa, it doesn't provide shade. And when I asked, are we going to get, what amenities we're going to get, they said the priorities, there wasn't enough room, and the priorities were just going to be the fans. So we weren't providing anything in the way of shade for the teams. Number one, I think that's wrong. I think the priority should be the teams. Secondly, and I sent some photos to staff from this weekend, the 3-level bleachers are not, first of all, they're next to each other. It's uncommon to put teams sitting next to each other. Usually, there's some separation, for when coaches are, talking strategy and whatever. But the shade structure is so high that in most of the afternoon, there's absolutely no shade. So the picture that I took, my son-in-law brought a lower shade and a bench to the game on Sunday, and I asked him, and he's the one that pointed out there's no shade, the one where the other team was using. So I do think we need to get this right. I'm anxious to get it done, but I want to just I'm hoping council will just pause this one. Let's get a plan. Let's make sure that the plan maximizes shade for the team first and foremost, and then to the degree that there's any additional space that can be provided, for the fans. But I don't want to replicate what's there because it doesn't provide sufficient shade for the team. It's far too high. If you were to see it, if you've ever been to Abacoa, I suggest you go there.
I was there, yes.
It's way too high.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem pausing something or deferring.
Yeah, I agree. We've
I
got to get this one
Rating
right.
plan of the bleachers and the shade and how it's all laid
Yeah.
out then. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I do want to see some renderings and,
Right.
That was it.
Thank you. I appreciate
Right,
it.
okay.
I mean, again, this is important, so let's
Very
get
important.
it correct, and thank you. So I'll take a motion and a second to, I guess, what would the action item be? We're really just
Postponing.
postponing it? Postponing resolution, or postponing agenda item number 7.
motion, okay, good.
Go ahead.
Motion to postpone item number 7, shade ports.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to Resolution 4126, pulled by Councilor Geisinger. What's your pleasure?
Yeah, thank you. My concern was, I realize we've had a 48% increase in the cost of sulfuric acid, and I understand why that is happening now with the current global market for sulfur coming out of the Middle East and everything. But my question is, I guess to the town staff, and particularly Director Barnes, what is the risk of obtaining sulfuric acid in the future? Has that been assessed by the town? Right now, we're paying a 48% for the next, 15, 16 months. Where does that look outward towards 27, 28 as far as what we might be paying? Do you have any feel for that?
Good evening. Amanda Barnes, Director of Utilities. As far as the future, and if you look in the agenda package, I did provide like historical pricing of how it's gone up and down, and it is highly variable depending on the global economy. And I think the last time that we saw a large increase like this was in 2022, when right after COVID, and we were having supply chain concerns. So I don't really know what the future holds, but I do expect, I can't say I don't expect it to go higher. I hope it doesn't go any higher. We do have other chemicals that will be bidding this summer, and I do expect we might see some increases in those. As far as acid, and acid is a necessary chemical for water treatment.
Right.
It's what we use to adjust pH and promote, efficient treatment through the membranes and removal of hydrogen sulfide. So, I mean, other than it, if the economy gets better, if the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East get better, I think we'll see pricing come down for sure. But what's happening is some of those other countries are holding on to their sulfur because of the concerns of they use it for fertilizer. So
And mining, yeah, too.
Yes, concerns of food, being able to support their own economies from a food perspective.
Well, then my follow-up question, based on what you said, are there any alternatives to sulfuric acid we may be considering? I know there's carbon dioxide, hydrochloric acid. Are any of those compatible with our systems, or would it be a complete overhaul of how we
It would be
treat our water?
a major retrofit. Standard. There are opportunities. Some places have eliminated acid addition. We tried that. We did some pilot testing to try to reduce the amount of acid we use in the nano plant. It didn't work well. We'll put our membranes in jeopardy, and we'll be cleaning and replacing membranes much more frequently than we are, which is very expensive. Right. We do not use acid for pre-treatment of the RO plant, so it's just the nano plant. But in both plants, we do use acid for post-treatment. We can definitely investigate in our master plan, our 5-year update that we're going to do, other post-treatment options to sulfuric acid. We can add that.
I appreciate that. So, okay. That's all the questions I had. So,
Director Barnes, I have one question just as a follow-up. I remember 2022 very well, and with supply chain issues across all of our water treatment chemicals, can we expect similar changes? Are all of our water treatment chemicals similarly impacted by a geopolitical event, or are there, some will be, some not be, but are we expecting hikes in the future across all of them?
I mean, I expect some will increase maybe just a little, and others might be a little higher. Antiscalants are made, for the most part, made here. It's going to vary by chemical.
Okay, thank you.
mm-hmm.
I just want to make one comment on this one since it was been pulled. First of all, I want to recognize, I appreciate the way how chemicals have generally been managed and understand, and through the volatility that happens. And one thing, my first reaction when I saw this was, oh yeah, when the price goes up, they want to, change the contract, but when it goes down, they don't. But I'm grateful that, as was indicated, the contract had 120-day advance notice, and the fact that, Shreve honored the commitment to supply at the contract price range for 120 days. So, which I would imagine so it was not in default, but they honored that. So it's probably the case that there isn't anything that could have been done better than's been done, and that provision protected the town as best as we could.
Yeah.
So I don't have any suggestions other than, let's factor that into when we're doing updates, a year from now, if there's anything beyond what we already have in the contract that can be done. And I don't know of any. Here's a good protection provision that we had, because to the degree that I guess that the contracts generally are every year, the 120-day provision gives us at least, and so long as we would have a right, if the market was going in the opposite direction, to give a 120-day notice, so that we were enjoying a significant drop when and if it ever happened.
Yes, and this contract does, so the previous contract with Shreve did not contain, it contained a cost adjustment on an annual basis. This one contains a cost adjustment up or down on a 6-month basis,
Okay.
based on the PPI.
But there's also the 120-day
Yeah,
notification.
cancellation.
Right.
And that's enough time to allow us to rebid the contract. with
Understand.
120.
Yeah, so that worked well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we want to,
Yeah, with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 41-26.
Second.
motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to the regular agenda, public hearing, Resolution 5926. I'll turn it over to staff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Scott Reynolds. I'm the Finance Director for the town of Jupiter. Again, we're here this evening to discuss Resolution 59-26. This resolution establishes the estimated initial per property fire protection fee to be assessed beginning October 1, 2026. It ensures a transparent process for establishing the fee. We'll be noticing all the residents if this passes this evening. All residents in the town, all property owners will be notified of their fee. I want to make clear the fee itself is going to be replacing the Palm Beach County fire rescue that people are being assessed currently starting in October. So I just want to make that clear. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. But it requires a final hearing. I want you to think of it in terms of what we're asking this evening, such as the trim process. When you're setting the initial trim rate in July, it's a proposed rate, and then you have a final hearing in September to finally adopt it. So that's what we're doing now, is we're proposing an initial rate that'll go out for notification to the residents, just like with trim. You have to go out on the trim notice to advertise any kind of ad valorem rate to the residents. Same process, we have to notify all the residents. This will require the final hearing in June 16th, 2026 to adopt any final fee after the public notification process. So again, we've talked about this before as well. There's two different funding options. We have the fee that's before you this evening, which will help fund the Jupiter Fire Rescue. It's only a small portion of the overall budget. Again, this fee will be replacing the current county fee that's currently being assessed to the residents. This will happen after October 1. There's a number of fees that we'll go into. There's 3 different components to funding the Jupiter Fire Rescue. What's being proposed this evening is the property taxes, EMS transport fees, and the per property fee that is within the resolution. And then an additional funding option, if you so wish, when we go forward, if we do not adopt the per property fee, we can use property taxes, the EMS transport fees, and then ultimately sales tax to make up that difference for any debt service that we take on. So keep hammering this home because this is very important. Going forward, there's an immediate savings to the property owner next year. When you compare it to the county, that there's a $10 million delta there that residents are anticipated to save. Again, this is all based on the fees that will be replacing the current fire rescue fees that residents are currently receiving this year, going into next year. But there is an estimated $10 million savings between the $35 million estimate for Palm Beach County Fire Rescue next year and the $25 million that we're going to be proposing to the council when we talk about the budget. So what are the future steps? If you approve tonight's resolution, there'll be a public hearing and we'll also be notifying all the residents, and those notices will go out on May 26th to all the property owners in Jupiter to notify them of what their fee will be, so they'll be able to see that. And then there'll be a final resolution for consideration by the town council on June 16th. Within the notification, everyone will get notice when that hearing will be, to give the public an opportunity between even before the hearing to weigh in, ask questions, and send their questions ahead of time to the clerk, but also to come to the hearing on the 16th and voice if they have concerns or if they have questions. With that, are there any questions from the council?
Council have any questions?
Yeah, I have a few. Director Reynolds, on your, I was looking at the executive summary under analysis. You have 5 possible exemptions you're proposing. It's on the first page.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You have 5 potential or exemptions you're proposing?
That's within the rate resolution as well.
Okay. What is the value of those exemptions, the buy down for those? Well, what I did, I went back and looked at page 25, the Accenture memorandum, and 4 of those were listed, and it came up to $1,497,507. It did not include the agricultural structures exemptions. So is that a fairly accurate assessment, the 1.5 million?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay. How do we propose to make it that difference?
These, I'm sorry, what I'm looking at here is governmental entities will have a buy-down amount of $180,000, institutional, $59,000, VA exemptions, just over $11,000, and then we have the statutory discounts, and then there's also the disabled veterans, or the seniors. I don't have that number in front of me.
So it's a lot less than what's on page 25 of the Accenture report? Because that totaled up to the almost 1.5 million.
Let me turn to that page.
Okay. It's table 16 on page 25.
That may assume 100% funding.
Yeah, that is. That's
It
at
is?
100%.
Okay, I didn't see that. All right, okay. So we're not near that amount? the
No, sir.
1.5.
We're only recommending the 15% of the total 100% funding that could be
Okay.
available.
But those areas you're looking at, those 5 are what you're proposing.
That's within the rate resolution, those 5 categories.
Are those 5 categories consistent with what's in the MSTU we had with Palm Beach County Fire?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example of that. Especially for the buy down for the senior exemptions, the town and the county elected some time ago to give that exemption, that $25,000 exemption to all those individuals that met that criteria. The town sometime later gave an additional exemption on top of that. The county did not. So when the MSTU, the county MSTU, when they assess that, they do not recognize that additional exemption for the county portion. When we implement this, those individuals will actually receive that benefit of that additional $25,000 because it's a town adopted benefit.
And we'll fund that buy down through what, like general fund or?
Through the general fund, exactly.
Okay, all right. No further questions. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question, just on page 29, I appreciate the chart breakdown of of properties, the different square footages and the fees. I mean, I know we had questions last time about equity and all that, so I just, it looks about as fair as it can be without going just way into the weeds on this, so, I don't know how you could get any closer to equity. So, could you, just in a nutshell, I know we spoke about this earlier, but for the record, just briefly sort of describe the calculation, how it gets like from the, say, 500 square foot to 11 to 1,200 square feet, $15 annual assessment on a home.
It's based on, the whole fee is based on the cost of fire rescue and the number of calls by property type, and then they parse that out by the square footage across the town by property type.
Okay, great, thank you.
I just want to say I appreciate you being very clear that this is replacing the Palm Beach County cost. I think it's important. Everybody recognizes that, so thank you for that clarity.
I have a couple questions. Just to clarify, because I know we're getting a lot of questions, we're seeing a lot on social media and elsewhere, and I've had a couple of residents ask me, we're saving $10 million, so why am I getting an assessment? So I just want to make sure that we are being clear on it, because when I look at my trim notice or my property tax bill, we pay property taxes to a bunch of people. It's not just the town that collects all of your property taxes. It's a bunch of buckets, a bunch of people that collect. And we have right now with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue a dedicated millage on your bill that you're paying currently. That will disappear and be replaced by two things: a fee, potentially, if we approve this tonight, which is a very small portion. It's 8% is what you're saying according to the pie chart. It's 8% of the cost
Of the
for
total,
Jupiter Fire
right.
Rescue. So it's a small amount. The majority will actually be a lower millage than the current millage that we're paying to County Fire. So the savings comes when you're charged, say, $100 currently, and then you're charged like $70 the next year. So it's a lower cost. It goes to Jupiter Fire, but that's how the savings is going to be realized. So you had talked to me about at a household level, because we had talked about kind of describing it, and I know a resident came and spoke up about the household level. So if we look at it like an average household, I think you had shown me like 2,500 to 3,500 square feet, one of those, maybe 3,500. And you talk about taxable value, because the market value might be whatever, but the taxable value is another matter. So for a household of whatever, can you just walk through what the county fee would be, what the towns would be, and how the towns would be broken up, and then the savings, just so that all of us can understand at a household level
Sure.
what's going on?
Sure, I've actually been carrying this around the last couple of meetings just because I've done some analysis with our consultant to do exactly that.
Okay.
So just for instance, the 2,500 square foot home, let's say the assessed value is $300,000. That's the taxable value, I mean.
Taxable, yep.
So if we break that down into what the projected ad valorem dollars would be to fund that portion, if you adopt the NAV, that portion would be $347. The NAV that we're looking at, or the per property fee, would be $50. So that'd be $407 annually that person would pay. Now, how does that compare to the county's fee that they're currently assessing for FY27? Because you got to compare apples to apples. That would be $581.82 annually. So they're looking at a savings of $174 annually
Okay.
for that one property.
And you showed the millage from the town and the NAV from the town. Those two combined are still less than the millage
Correct.
for the county.
Correct.
Will every resident save under this?
Every resident, as it stands right now, looking at the FY27, looking at comparing apples to apples, yes, they should all save.
Will every property owner?
Every property owner should save, yes. I will preface that by saying we did buy down the nursing homes. If you remember right, there was a very large disparity based on the number of calls with the nursing homes. They may see a small increase, at least one or two of them in the town, but that's based on the number of calls But overall, yes, everybody's going to be receiving a savings.
Okay, thank you. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. Appendix F. This is a draft of the letter that's going to be mailed out. Is that correct?
I know it's in there, yes.
Okay. So if we approve this on first reading, a physical letter will be mailed to everyone with their personal information.
That's
So
right.
it'll be customized to their home, and they will get what they would be expected for this small fee, which is part of what we're doing for Jupiter Fire going forward. So you have the draft letter here, and I just wanted to ask, because I know that you've added a lot of language. Some of it's legally required, and so we have it in there. But we also have like question and answer and that type of thing. And I know we've been trying to put more information on the web page, all of that. But I wanted to ask, we have 4 bullet points here. It says what this means for you, and it kind of summarizes it. And I wanted to ask if we could move the 4th bullet to the 2nd bullet and just reorder it a little bit. This is Appendix F, the form of notice to be mailed. I just want to make sure that
I can ask that question. I did, the consultant indicated that we needed to sign off on this for printing today, which I did.
Okay.
But I can request if we can move that up.
If,
And
yeah,
you
I
wanna
mean, I
s-
don't want to change the content of the letter.
Yeah.
So the content is fine. Yeah, I didn't know if we were able to reorder. If not, you know, what's done is done.
I believe we
but I
can.
wanted to
We'll ask the question. And you want to move it up to where?
maybe the 2nd bullet. So it says the town is considering a non-ad valorem assessment to help fund fire protection services. And then number 2, if approved, this non-ad valorem special assessment would be included on your property tax bill, listed at the bottom section labeled non-ad valorem assessment. You will no longer be charged for the item on your bill labeled Jupiter Fire Rescue, which equates to a millage of blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So that's something I thought might be helpful
Makes
for
sense.
for residents, so they can understand that.
I'll ask first thing, I'll ask this evening after I leave the meeting to see
Okay.
if we can do that.
Because in sharing with residents, that, clears it up. They start kind of confused until they hear that, and then they can kind of understand the rest of it when they go from there. So I didn't know if there's consensus. That was just a thought, so.
I agree with you. I think there's still going to be questions on this. There's a lot of verbiage here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And let's be ready for those phone calls or emails or texts, whatever will come in, be able to answer these questions.
We've put together a procedure to handle all the
Perfect.
emails that we'll be
Yeah.
receiving, yes, and a procedure on how to handle return mail and all those kind of things.
And Director Reynolds, if we want to go back to all ad valorem, or if we want to end it early, if we want to change our process, I understand this is just like a tool in the toolbox for us to fund, but do we have that flexibility over the years if we want to make changes to this
Absolutely.
program?
Absolutely, you're not locked into it. If you want to raise the fee above what you're currently, if you were to set it, that's where the hurdles start coming into place.
Yep.
You would have to do pretty much the same procedure we're doing right now. We'll have to draft a resolution, we'll have to decide what that rate is, we'll have to notify all the residents again. It's just like we're starting back over again.
Right.
But if you wanted to eliminate the fee and do something different, that is completely up to the council. You have that ability.
So if some future council, or if something led to, it wouldn't be me, but if someone wanted to do 100% or something crazy, every resident would be notified, there
That's
would be
correct.
letters.
That's
It's
correct.
very hard to do. It's not something done often or easily. So,
Again, you would start back over with the notification process and doing the public hearings, exactly what we're doing right now.
okay.
I think by design, it's somewhat of an arduous process for
Exactly.
notification, education,
Correct.
transparency, the biggest, so.
But I want residents to feel better about that,
Right.
knowing how much of a hurdle it would be for
Mhm.
anyone to
Right.
do that, which I think is important. And one more question on sales tax. I had seen something that we don't do sales tax. That's the county, is that right?
Oh, no.
So we receive sales tax as one of our many streams of revenue,
Correct.
and we could use some of that
That's
for
right.
it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Do we have any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, well, I have one question and I have comments to make, but, you know, and while I don't agree with the process being used and opposed and will oppose it throughout the entire budget process, but, on the nursing homes, as an example, so the, non-ad valorem fire assessment fee reportedly tries to spread to the different types of units. So single family has to kind of cover, residential units covers the percentage of the fire department's, you know, correct? But nursing homes, to the degree we made an exception, I just wanted to point this out because this had been explained, that they way use the services far beyond. And so rather than set the fee what they currently use, like everybody else, they're setting it lower, and the intention is to work with them so they understand.
That's correct.
Because there's things they can do. I mean, I looked into this with my mom. There's things you could do where they could be equipment they could be buying, so they're not making as frequent calls and whatever. So that's a give, but you know they're going to have to change their process. Otherwise, I would expect it's not being fair to everybody else.
To your point, the chief, and he's even stood at this dais that he is committed to work with them on.
And I understand that. And while we appreciate that, they need to be motivated that if they don't change, then the fee is going to be, you know, higher. And so I'm supportive of that. But, okay, then I just want to comment on the record here, as I've done all along the process. First of all, I read an executive summary and it says, with the town assuming responsibility for fire services, a dedicated and equitable funding source may be established. That's where this fire protection assessment comes in. I submit, if you look up equitable, the definition says fair to all parties as dictated by reasons and conscience. Well, doesn't pass the smell test for me. I don't know how a two individual family living in an 1,199 square foot residential unit pays $15 a year versus two-member family living in a 3,100 square foot residential unit will be paying $93 a year. That's more than 6 times as much. Other municipalities that had been shared with us have gone with non-ad valorem fire fees that use the same dollars per year for all residential units. West Palm, Boynton, Boca, and Lannis. Now, there may be others out there that have done it differently. I'm just literally going by what staff told us on day one here. So West Palm, Boynton, Boca, Atlantis, they use the same fee per residential unit, and we got this scale that somehow I think is penalizing those that have more, could be the same two people. As an engineer, it's not logical to me that you can have that much, 6 times as many fire calls if you're living in a 3,100 square foot unit versus 1,199. That said, I've made this case. I'm going to make it every single time this comes before us. I will not support a budget. I'm going to be the no vote throughout the entire process here. I just want to make sure that's clear. With that, I mean, I'm just being consistent, and that's the way this process works. 5 make a decision, and but I'm going to say, because we've represented to the public. I know we talked about hypothetically we might have this fire assessment fee, but for 2.5 years we went ahead and told people, look at your property taxes, and there's going to be, everybody's going to get, you know, a percentage reduction. And now the rules are different. Well, gee, if you live in a 3,100 square foot unit versus 1,199, and you happen to have the same tax value, no, you're not going to pay. You're not going to get the same fee because one's going to be paying 6 times as much for the non-ad valorem fee. So with that, I'm going to continue to say this every time on the record. I'm going to advocate through the entire budget process. This is not equitable. It's by the definition when I looked it up. Fair and to all parties as dictated by reasons and conscience. Doesn't pants my conscience. With that, I'll take a motion in a second to approve Resolution 5926.
Motion to approve Resolution 5926.
Second.
Motion in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-1 with Mayor Koretsky opposing. Moving on to public business, Resolution 6026, authorizing an option purchase agreement for 3126 Jupiter Park Drive. Do I turn it over, is it the town manager or who? Mr. Reynolds?
Good evening again. Scott Reynolds, I'm the finance director for the town of Jupiter. This evening, we have a purchase option for a piece of property at 3126 Jupiter Park Drive. We're requesting the authorization to proceed forward with the option to purchase, to also authorize the use of reserve funding to make the purchase, and authorize the town manager to execute all agreements. Just to go back, when we built this building, one of the things that we did not envision at the time was having our own fire department. Well, now we do. And what comes along with the fire department is they will have their own inspectors and plans examiners and those types of things. A year and a half ago, we started reserving funds to possibly build a building. It was speculative at the time, to house building personnel, meaning code enforcement, plans examiners, code compliance, fire inspectors, and building inspectors. We started every year during the mid-year amendments, just like this evening. You all passed the mid-year budget amendment, and on there we were restricting certain building funds for future uses to be incorporated into future CIPs, and one of those was for a building. Recently, there's been some development at the state level that they will be taking away that option to be able to possibly build a facility or purchase a facility or utilize those funds in that way. We had, before that even arose as an issue, we had already started seeking out other alternatives for combining where our personnel for these types of occupations would be housed. We started actually looking at leasing some property, and anybody that's tried to lease property in the town of Jupiter, commercial space, knows how expensive that can be. But we did research that option. And then at that point that we started looking at possibly purchasing a building. We all know how expensive construction costs are. We have a couple of construction projects that are going on currently. So we do understand how expensive that can be in the town of Jupiter as well. So we did find a building that we were interested in that can bring all these disciplines together. They can all work together. And one of the things when we did find the building that we saw that also checked a box that the council had been looking for is a possible future training facility for police officers. So that checked the box. So we proceeded forward and looking at the building further. Again, some of the benefits of the purchase: it integrates the plans review and inspectors in the building along with the fire department inspectors. These are all people that are in charge of enforcing the building code along with code enforcement. Provides dedicated training space if we so wish to do that, and it definitely can fit that mode. It's cost effective, an alternative to new construction. Existing use aligns with the town's intended use that we've been seeking over the last couple of years. So in order to make any kind of offer, Florida statute is pretty clear. Anything above a $500,000 price tag, we have to have 2 independent appraisals done. We've done that. One appraisal came in at $10,800,000. The second appraisal came in at $10,520,000. You average those together. The price was $10,660,000. which is exactly what was offered. The building was originally listed at $11.4 million, and the owner has agreed that he would sell the property for $10.660. So then the question comes, how will we pay for it? Again, we had been reserving building funds for the last year and a half, actually, for a building. So the utilization of the building reserve funds, and then some participation within the general fund because of the training facility. If you're going to utilize the building in any other way outside of building fund use, you have to have an alternative funding coming from the general fund. And so what I want to show here is the reserves. Currently, if you looked at the last financial statement that our auditor presented, we had just over $19 million in the building fund. There was 5.3, that is their general operating reserves. And then the restrictions that were on tonight's agenda, $9 million for facility reserves, 3.9 for any kind of software or GIS upgrades, virtual inspection, which is the future, I'm being told from the building officials, and training room and anticipated multi-disciplinary license training. That's another big issue that's facing the town, is having the multi-license training. So the next thing is the general fund. I always like to make sure that the council is aware, if we're going to be looking at our reserves, where we're currently sitting. If you remember looking at the reserve balance for 9/30, it's just over $62 million. We've transferred some funds out for the funding of the Jupiter Fire Rescue and some other operating carry forwards and some capital funding. Leaves us with just over $43 million currently sitting in the reserve balance. One of the questions that came up is, well, how did we arrive at the split between the $9 million and the $1.6 million? When we first looked at it, again, this was speculative. We knew the primary objective was the housing of the building fund and the code enforcement people. And then the secondary was the training for the police department. So looked at use of the building. How often are people going to actually be in the facility? The building fund people will be there 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. The training facility, they do it in block training 20 times a year. They have training for the police officers. And out on one of those weeks that they're having training, 4 days will be for training. One will be actually at the firing range, from what I'm being told. 3 days will actually be training, meaning that they would be at the facility. So when you look at those percentages, it comes to about 17% for the training facility, and the remainder would be for the building fund use. So that's how we came up with the split initially. Now, these are all speculative at this time for the police training. That could expand in the future, but for right now, that's exactly what we're looking to put at the facility. So in order to purchase, there are some statutory requirements, and it's outlined within the purchase agreement. It falls under 166.045, requires a 30-day public notice and inspection period, which is included in the option to purchase. It's also included in our due diligence period to commence, including inspection of the facility, a phase 1 environmental, a property survey, and then the closing to take place on or before June 30th. And with that, I'll take questions.
I have a few questions.
I'm sorry, one other thing, Mayor. I did ask Chief Hennessy to come to talk high level about the training.
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council. For the record, Don Hennessy, Chief of Police for the Jupiter Police Department. I just want to take a moment to talk about some of those training opportunities that this facility would present to the department. As Director Reynolds mentioned, we do 20 block weeks of training per year. Give or take, we slot officers into one, each officer does 1 week a year to go through that training. One of the things that I'm most proud of among many things is the training program we've put together at the police department. The training officers and supervisors that have put our training curriculum together, in my opinion, is second to none. One of the ongoing challenges that we've had over the years, and this is not new, it's been part of the strategic plan for years to find a training facility for us. It's been one of my strategic priorities, as well as, my predecessors before me, to find a suitable facility to do that. So as we talk about 20 weeks a year and trying to find adequate space that's dedicated for training, they've been creative. Our training staff has used schools, which obviously we know we can't use 5 days a week for the majority of the year. That limits us to the summertime. We've used town facilities, right, that have their own operations that are not designed for that use. By putting a building like this in place, it will allow for us to better customize that training as we go through for both new hires, those going through block training. It'll provide a facility that we can be proud of to host leadership training, both for our officers and for officers and supervisors in the area. So it just provides that piece that we've been looking for and gives us a solution to that strategic initiative that we've been looking to find over the years. And again, I think it'll help us to not only do the training we do in a more conducive environment, but it'll also allow us to expand and provide better training in the future. So, thank you.
So just a few questions and comments together from my point of view. Number one, I think I want to make sure that we're dispelling some of the misunderstandings I've seen on social media. Number one, because this is not a surprise to us, and I want to just point out in the way of where there is transparency. So number one, the building department is an enterprise fund, and therefore all of its revenues come from basically building fees, correct?
Building permit fees,
So
yes.
not a penny from the general fund crosses. It was said it's got to be at least 3 decades ago, but whenever, it's been a long time. So we've been building up reserves over the course of time, more than just the last year and a half.
That's correct.
And what's being presented to us to take action on is to buy a building to move forth with using those reserves that, again, not a penny comes from taxpayers. It's correct.
That is correct.
That's 85%. I just want to make that clear. So 85% of the building is funded by the building fund reserves. And I don't really know how other governments are structured. I do know that the county, for example, is building a building for the building department the same way. It's right next to the county engineer's building that I go to on occasion, correct? And I think you're aware of other municipalities doing the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
And a bit of urgency, and you may have said this, but legislature action, we either go ahead and finally invest what we have here, or there's some consequences that we would lose that. So I appreciate the proactiveness on the part of staff to find a building that not only will serve, the purpose for the building, enlarged building department, if you will. I think it's nice to bring in code enforcement and the fire plans, reviewer and whatever, all in one common place that, number one, will free up some space in the police building headquarters, which is a benefit. And this 15%, while I know and I'm sure my colleagues might have some questions about it, that can be worked out over time. So I was delighted to learn that the seller was just finishing up $1 million, and not yet done. I heard this from our building department, $1 million worth of interior upgrades, basically for the office space, essentially, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they basically decided corporately to consolidate into Atlanta, the Atlanta office or something like that?
That's my understanding.
Okay. So, I just wanted to make sure we were getting, facts on the record on why, this is on the agenda and why I'm really supportive of it. It really makes a lot of sense. As our police chief had said, we've had in our strategic plan about a training facility for a long time. And, and to that, we're going to invest 15% of it from general funds. And I'm sure that more details about that we'll all be getting updates through the town manager about that. But I think we all got a tour of the building. It's a phenomenal building. It'll serve the town well, and so I'm supportive. But anyway, just thank you. In nodding, you've confirmed what I've said, correct, for the record.
Yes.
Anybody else on the dais have any questions?
I do, yeah. I just wanted to ask, just a comment being made. Could you elaborate for our residents or anyone here in the council what legislature is telling everyone that they need to do with that general building fund and why, if there's any rationale, so that it's clearer?
Within this, the statutes, we're allowed to restrict reserve funds within the building department, the building funds, for certain types of activities. And one of those is for a facility. And over the last year and a half, we've actually been doing that, and along with what we've been discussing here this evening. And here recently, they're going to be changing the legislation come July 1. That will take that ability away, that you cannot use those reserves for a facility. So we were already in the process of looking to possibly lease a building. So we were already in the process of planning, and then we were going to put together a CIP to bring back before the town council. So we were already in the process. This just kind of expedited the process of us trying to seek a building.
And where do the permit fees, where are they going to go in the future that we collect?
The permit fees?
Yes, we've been putting it into the building fund.
They will continue to stay in the building fund. They're restricted. They have to stay within the building fund.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just quick comments. I toured the facility last week. Like you said, they did the recent renovations. It's parts of the building are like brand new, and it has those gigantic warehouse spaces that can be used for whatever the town needs. So and if we were to build that out, you'd be at $22 million. Because anything building that size, this size, everything's $20 million these days.
That's what I'm being told. Yeah.
So this is just perfect fit at the perfect time, and it has plenty of power source coming into it, and it's just I think it's just ready to go. I think it's just a great fit for the town to get the police and fire training integrated together. It's another step in that right direction. So I think it's I'm all in favor of this resolution. So thank you.
I agree. I think it's use it or lose it is part of it, for sure. I was expecting CIP, but this accelerates all of it. It does check a number of boxes. We have talked about training facilities, other things. I am excited, though, for the upgrades to building generally, because I know what we hear from our residents and businesses is the length of time it takes for permits. I'm excited about some of the software and technology upgrades that we're going to be focusing on. So it's not just the building, but it's also just the process and digitizing everything, all of that, modernizing our building department, which I think everyone can agree is a great thing. So I'm really excited about that. Also, with the police, I'm really glad to see that we can do this. We didn't know what shape it would take going forward. I think, we wouldn't have arrived at this or found this unless we had this constraint. It was kind of a happy accident in a way. So I'm really glad to see that. And to have everyone together, including now we have this fire inspector and fire marshal responsibility. So it's great to have everyone together. I know we hear from our business community that we really want to see improve customer service there. So it'll be great to have all the pieces together, modernize that department, give them a space. Code compliance used to be with building. They were moved to JPD. So now they're going to go back to buildings so that everyone's under one roof. So thank you. It is a bit of an unusual item, but I'm really glad that it worked out this way. It didn't have to, and it could have lost a lot. So thank you.
I had one question with the building being 20 years old. I assume the roof is 20 years old also. Have we assessed the condition of that roof, and when will it have to be replaced?
That's part of our due diligence. We do understand that it is 20 years old. We will be assessing all that. We're waiting for the assessment to come back. And then when we do, we'll make that part of the discovery.
Okay. And if it's determined that we should replace it immediately, will we do that before we move into it?
We will assess how bad it is during the assessment period.
Okay.
To see if that's necessary right away.
And one thing else, Director Reynolds, I don't know if you can answer this or not. One of the town's 2026 strategic plan initiatives under Organization Excellence is to develop a master plan for the town maintenance facility property. Remember, we had two actions there. One was phase one, the vehicle maintenance facility. We all know how bad that condition of that building is out there in working conditions. And also the advanced phase of administrative facility. Will we be able to retire those two actions with the purchase of this building?
That's one of the possibilities that we're looking at now, Counselor.
So there could be a future cost savings there if we're able to do that then, so.
Yes, substantial.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to confirm that. No further questions.
Just in wrapping up, before I'll take a motion, I just want to emphasize again and talk about the building department. I know these things are dynamic and it does change over time, but over the years, I've heard from contractors that do significant amount of volume with the building department, and what I had heard, and granted, it's been probably 2 or 3 years old now, getting this feedback, but we were head and shoulders favored with the way we had online permitting and things like that. And I know people leapfrog, and maybe we were the best, and maybe we're not now, but my point was, I just wanted to say on the record that, I appreciate the work of our building department, and this is one of the few times, I mean, in recent years, what I'm going to say here, in recent years, I kind of feel like the legislature keeps passing down all these unfunded mandates, and I wonder who they're representing, but I'm kind of delighted. I want to thank them here because they accelerated, ironically. If we were to go the normal process, I mean, we've just accelerated something that's going to improve significantly efficiencies within town government. So thank you, legislature, for giving us this June 30th deadline.
Thanks for the nudge, right?
Yeah, right?
With that, I'll take a motion in a second to approve Resolution 6026.
I'd like a motion to approve Resolution 50, what was it, 15?
6026.
26.
60-26.
Second.
No.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, staff, for
Good job.
for that. Moving on to reports, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two reports tonight. First, I'd like to ask the council to authorize the town clerk and town manager and I to coordinate the notice of a private attorney-client session under Section 286 Florida statutes to discuss a lawsuit initiated by the town against Equix. This lawsuit has to do with damage to a town water utility line. The line was damaged by the contractor for Peoples Gas who was installing the line. The Peoples Gas contractor and Peoples Gas have denied liability, and they started pointing the finger at a third party. So we had to amend our complaint and add that third party. We'd like to discuss our litigation strategy with you moving forward because it is a substantial damage case, and want to make sure you understand all of the ramifications to the town in that regard. So if I could have a motion to authorize the notice of attorney-client session, that would be excellent.
Take a motion.
Motion to approve an attorney-client session on, what was the name? Equix?
Town of Jupiter versus Equix.
Town of Jupiter versus Equix.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And Mayor, if I can, it's just for the record, is that the water main that was struck out on Indian Town Road?
Yes.
Crossing the canal? Okay.
Yes. Second, we've been in discussions as recently as this afternoon with CVS, which is one of the property owners in the Lakewood Commercial Association. The other property owner is Casa Tequila Mexican restaurant, and then the town of Jupiter owns the 9-acre parcel. So as we've been going through the due diligence as part of the buyer's due diligence, they have discovered this association maintains a declaration of covenants. There are several covenants in there that are somewhat burdensome and really irrelevant. Just to give you an example, and these covenants were drafted by Pulte Homes. I think they pulled off the shelf a declaration from one of their residential communities because there are an architectural board and review of things, and although those sometimes apply to commercial properties, here we know there's only three properties. And of course, the town staff does an excellent job with architectural review of any building that goes on in Jupiter. So we are trying. What happened was Pulte's had 3 directors on that association. All 3 Pulte directors resigned, leaving the association without any directors, which means the association can't operate. So one of the things that happened was the association is responsible for paying an assessment for maintenance of the landscaping and roadway that runs between Sonoma Isles and these parcels, and those assessments did not get paid. The result was that Sonoma Isles brought an action against the Lakewood Commercial Association and has achieved a default judgment because there were no directors to authorize any lawyers to defend the Lakewood Commercial Association. So the association now has a $17,000 default judgment against it. The purpose of the call with CVS was, as you know, Town Manager Kitzrow was appointed as the director for the town. We have been asking CVS to appoint a director. They have been, to put it mildly, dragging their feet, and now, as recently as Monday, they made a public records request. They've lawyered up with this lawyer from a law firm in Boca. I would say the 2 conversations we've had with that lawyer have not been pleasant, and they haven't been productive. So we're not sure where this is going, but we are exploring different options in order to resolve this, but I want to express my unhappiness with CVS. I'd like to think as many facilities as CVS has in the town of Jupiter, that to be a little bit more cooperative, and they haven't been. We will continue to try and cooperate. Our other twist in all of this is Casa Tequila. The owner of Casa Tequila is in Mexico and lives in Mexico 90% of the time. I've had 3 conversations with him. He's reluctant to appoint himself as a director, and he has apparently no one else to appoint as a director. So I want you to be aware that this is taking a little bit more time than we thought. We had hoped that we would already have a site plan submitted on the 9-acre parcel, but essentially what's holding it up is the reluctance to appoint directors other than Mr. Kitzrow, and the reluctance to really, from my perspective, cooperate with the town in addressing the issues in this declaration. And I'm sorry that that's the bad news on that, but the good news is that you have some good lawyers on your side of the equation working very hard to turn the table.
Well, I appreciate the update. We all appreciate the update. Thank you. And we've gotten previous updates. We know the complications here. Could you confirm our understanding that, so while we were an owner of one of the 3 parcels, as the town, we never were obligated Is that correct for any of the maintenance?
That's correct. The town was not responsible for paying assessments.
Right.
That was essentially negotiated when the town acquired the parcel through dedication.
Right. So we were not obligated, because now in wanting to sell it, the party buying it would then become obligated, which why this association of sorts, has to exist to manage that.
Correct.
I think, we don't want to get in the weeds of this, but I just want to ask, I think our town manager, you did take some action to do some maintenance by staff, even though we had no obligation.
That's correct, Mayor. We're working on cleaning that area up out there.
Right.
We
Appreciate that.
had complaints from the neighboring residential community because it hadn't been kept up. And the staff was about to initiate a code enforcement action against the association. I talked with the director. I said, well, you can go ahead and initiate it, but no one's going to respond to it. In the meantime, Mr. Kitzer and I decided that what was in the best interest of our residents was for the town to exercise the Public Works Department by going out there and doing the maintenance and picking up the debris that had been discarded along the roadway there. And as far as I know, we will continue to do that because that's in the best interest of our residents. And, we value, of course, the council values all of its residents. And certainly Sonoma Isles is a nice residential community and been a good partner to the town, and want to make sure that the area is kept up. I think one thing that we might do, and I think I want to give them a third chance before we do this, but I think if we don't get some positive movement soon, I think a letter from the mayor authorized by the council to CVS might stir some action on their part.
Just to add, and then we'll take a motion on that, but, my wife prefers that CVS, so I occasionally go there with her, pick up a prescription or whatever. And, I had noticed the neglect, if you will, which really is by CVS. So the irony here that I see here is that CVS, really the only entity that really had existed there for a number of years, has allowed the landscaping to be neglected. And here we are, and while I appreciate this, and we're doing that for the public and the residents, doing some maintenance, we need to get certainly CVS to wake up and start taking on that obligation. So do we need a resolution? Do we need a motion to authorize the letter?
Or is direction sufficient?
Yeah, a motion would be great.
So motion to approve a letter by this council to CVS.
I'll second.
Motion a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
And just, Mayor, on your last comment, this is common property. It may or may not be CVS property,
Understand.
but I am going to examine with planning and zoning staff. I've already read the development order for that property. We need to examine the plans and see if there is landscaping on the CVS site, which is a common problem we've had throughout the town with CVS.
Yep.
Maintaining their landscaping. So we're going to look at that and see what we find.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I would imagine the common road somebody owns, so I would think but let us know what that is, but thank you. Any other reports?
No, thank you.
Town manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Last week, our Community Relations Department and our Assistant Town Manager attended the annual Florida Municipal Communicators Association Conference and came home with several honors, as they do almost every year. And I'm pleased to announce that the town's Centennial at the Ballpark video created with the help from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, won the FMCA Award for Best Collaboration Video. The town also received their Certificate of Excellence in Government Communications for the 4th straight year. And meanwhile, our Assistant Town Manager, Kate Moretto, and Director of Community Relations, Sean Reed, were two of only 18 individuals from across the state to complete the FMCA's new Certified Local Government Communicator Professional Certification Program. And I understand it's a pretty extensive program. And then finally, Kate was sworn in as the new FMCA President, a role she will hold for the next year, and I've been told we don't have to call her Madam President or anything. So congratulations to her. We're all very proud of her. At the beginning of this month, the town's utilities department published a 2025 drinking water quality report. This report helps residents understand the town's ongoing efforts to produce its award-winning drinking water supply, and the report is being mailed in this month's water bills and is available online or by visiting Town Hall. I also want to take a minute to recognize the Jupiter Police Department's employees of the first quarter. Detective Nicole Hansen was recognized as the investigator of the quarter. Officer Michael Denier earned the Officer of the Quarter, and Code Compliance Officer Destiny Julian was named the Civilian Employee of the Quarter. On a somber note, next Thursday, May 14th, the Jupiter Police Department will hold its annual memorial service to honor Major Edward K. Humphrey and Police Officer First Class Bruce St. Laurent, both of whom gave their lives in the line of duty. The ceremony will be held at Riverside Memorial Park in Tequesta and will begin at 9 a.m. And finally, as I always do, I want to recognize some long-tenured town employees. If you give me a moment, Mayor. They're celebrating work anniversaries with the town. Our own Stephanie Thoburn, one of our assistant directors in the Planning and Zoning Department, celebrates 30 years of service this month, 30 years. Two of our police officers, one of whom guards us most nights here, Officer Marinucci and Joe Beinlich, along with GIS Specialist Wayne Walker, are celebrating 25 years of service. I think Newt started when he was like 10, right? Is that what it was? And so he's got 25 years of service. And then one of our all-time favorites, Police Officer Roberto Diaz Hernandez, will be completing 20 years of service with the town this month. So here again, you know, I'm always so impressed with how many long-tenured employees we have, and how Club 30 continues to expand. That's my report, Mayor.
Moving on to council, I'll start at Councilor Geisinger.
Yeah, just two quick things. Again, congratulations to all the town employees celebrating service anniversaries this month. Also, I'd like to personally congratulate and thank the Jupiter Police. I attended the Family Autism Day they had on April 25th. That was a very, very nice event and very well attended by our residents of the town. And what a special day for residents. They provided community service resources to families, and also I think generally the kids had a lot of fun. And I never seen so many handprints on a police car. I took a picture of it. I'll send it to you. So, but it was a really nice event and well attended. And hats off to the JPD for hosting that event this year. So that's all I got.
Councilor Sundstrom.
Permission to go second to last.
I went to, Councilor Geiser, I went to that event a few years ago, and it is a great event. It's a lot bigger than you think it would be, and it's just great support from the police department, and everybody has a really good time there. Town manager, you stole my thunder on all the recognitions for town staff, so congratulations to everybody that town manager mentioned. And I haven't been on the water in a while, and I was this past weekend, and I was able to go by the Jupiter Inlet, the lighthouse area where the state's doing, the federal government's doing the renovation. And it's intense. They have, you know, they put in last summer the seawall was about finished, and now there's a tier, I guess there's a pathway, then there's another wall of a very sort of like a limestone colored rock. And now there's at least 4 very large wooden staircases that come all the way down to the water. So what I'm hoping is it doesn't look like boats can even get in there. I know they're going to put some living shoreline in there. I hope they jungle it up and make it softer, but it is a far cry. I know something had to be done. I don't know if they wanted something this intense. I know a lot of locals are very unhappy with it. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I hope they can sort of make it look a little more like Jupiter as opposed to a national park. I don't know what they're going for, but the renderings we were shown here, it's not what I saw, and I know you really shouldn't judge a project when it's not completed, but we'll wait and see. But I hope they can kind of soften it up a little bit. So that's it.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Again, congratulations to all our staff, the 30-year clubs. It's amazing the number of employees. Just want to ask, just became aware of our memorial out on the town green. I'd like to see a plan for getting this out to our community so that they know it's there. I hear we've got some trees there. Again, it's beautiful. Did you all see it yet? It's quite nice. So just a game plan for how we're going to publicize that.
Vice Mayor, we'll be doing a ribbon cutting as we do for all other projects, and Sean Reed and I have had some preliminary conversations about that. And now that we've got all the trees in and everything done, you'll see that coming up very shortly. I do want to give a kudos, if I could, to Stephanie Thoburn, who was out there the other day in her big Jupiter straw hat, moving pots of plants and all this stuff around, and that's her specialty, and she really did quite a great job with that. But we will be having a ribbon cutting, and we will invite the community.
Just wanted to ask if we can be kept in the loop with the building negotiating as you go forward, whether it's the environmental, just keep us posted on that. I'd like to, yeah. And then the last thing, on some of the lots that we own in and around our area, I'd like to see an update at some point, what we have. Daniels Way, is there any plans for what could go there? Residents are asking, so just put it on the to-do list just to keep us posted. Thank you.
Councilor Sundstrom?
Thank you. Mayor, I have the honor of presenting a proclamation to you this evening, and I've never done this, so I'm going to try to read fast. But this is from the Florida League of Cities in honor of your 25 years of elected service. So let me just read this to you. It's from President Holly Smith, President of the Florida League, the State League. So as our representative, I just wanted to present this to you and read it to everyone here. So, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Florida League of Cities honoring Jim Koretsky for 25 years of elected service and presenting him with the John Land Years of Service Award in recognition of his selfless commitment to municipal leadership and governance. Whereas America's municipal governments have long relied upon the selfless leadership of their citizens for local self-government, and Florida's municipal governments share the same honored role, or the time-honored role, as the level of government closest to the people. And whereas this reliance places extraordinary responsibilities upon citizen legislators, municipal elected officials, who make significant sacrifices of their time and energies on behalf of their citizenry, making this commitment a true labor of love. And whereas municipal leaders strive for excellence in the governance of their city, town, or village and commit themselves to providing quality services, governing effectively, and working to improve the quality of life. I see what you go through with these things now. And whereas the League has named its Years of Service recognition in honor of John Land, the mayor of Apopka, between the years of 1949 and 2014, a leader whose dedication is unsurpassed at the national and state levels and who's modeled the way for decades of municipal leaders. And whereas several terms in office are a high compliment voters give to an official, and with these years of experience comes a strengthening of wisdom, discernment, and strong leadership skills that bring tremendous value to the municipal governments of Florida. And whereas Jim Koretsky has held office in the town of Jupiter for 25 years and is recognized for this achievement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Florida League of Cities that Jim Kretzky is commended for his dedication to the town of Jupiter and is hereby recognized as an outstanding public servant in Florida. Adopted by the Board of Directors assembled this 4th day of December 2025. So that's when they did it. But I am so honored to give this. This isn't going to be like the No. So. Terry, would you like to come up?
Our First Lady.
How about everybody on council and town manager? We're a team.
You should just do you guys first.
Yeah, so you guys go first.
Yeah.
One more. Got it?
What do we do?
Got it.
Thank you.
Well, just to say a few words. First of all, it really has been an honor and privilege, and particularly just been delighted to work with this council. Not that every council didn't have, unique team going, but I really enjoy the team that we have. Really, as I reflect back, I am so grateful that the public has entrusted me to serve this long. I think back on so many elections where I feel like I had a bullseye, but I've come through it, thankfully, thanking God and certainly my wife and family for helping me in those elections, as well as residents and supporters. And I think many know this, but one of the things I've always done is every term that I've served, I bring with me in my meeting book my pledges that I made for that term, and I periodically look at them. I make sure it's in my binder because I make sure I am fulfilling. And I believe there may be others on the council that are doing that practice. But just to I'll just share. So we're a year in on my 9th term and last one. And my first commitment was on fire rescue services. And I'm just going to read through this. To continue with creation of new Jupiter Fire Rescue Department and have it ready to begin full service throughout Jupiter on October 1st. We're certainly going to deliver on that one. Managing overall costs of government, creation of JRFRD enables the town's ad valorem tax rate to continue to be the lowest of all municipalities in Palm Beach County. And to the degree that the benchmarking we did included both the town and Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, because that's the equal scope of services that most municipalities have, we'll be able this year to enact a reduction, if you will. We're all grateful for that. Of course, keeping our Jupiter uniquely special, preserving our quality of life and enhancing it, preserving it, and further enhancing it for our children and grandchildren and future generations. traffic mitigation solutions, we've certainly been working on a number of those for a number of years, and it's starting to, we're starting to see a number of them get implemented. And then lastly, historic preservation, continue efforts and collaboratively work with property owner to respect and preserve the unique and archaeological and historical nature of portions of SUNY Sand sites. And we're well on the way to deliver on that. So I couldn't do any of this without 5 members on the council. I'm grateful for that. But I am humbled by this recognition, and again, thank you to the public for entrusting me to sit up here and represent you. With that, the time is now 9:07. We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Been a long time.
Great.
Congratulations. We have enjoyed you as mayor, councilor, and regular attender before that.
Thank you. Yeah, I signed everything.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yesterday.